It's going. It's like loading in there to go live. Hello. Welcome to a chat with Matt. Oh, well, now it's got like that slow playback, but anyways, welcome to a chat with Matt. I am your host, Matt Green. Um, I just, if you're here right now, if you're watching, I want to thank you. I tried to get it so that I could get these losers off the screen and just have my big, beautiful face on there, but I can't really figure it out. So we'll get to these two other fellas there here in just a minute. But, I'm sure some of you probably wondering if you are watching this, like what it's all about. And, why are we here? Why should you take your time to come and watch this big, fat, white guy talk with some random strangers that you probably don't even know. And I guess it's simply I see Eugene smiling. I just I want people to get to know each other. I guess that's kind of it. Like a lot of it's personal because I want to talk to people. I want to learn more about people. Like I plan on having a whole bunch of different people on here, not just my friends, but even then with my friends, there's a lot of stuff I don't know about them. But it's also more, not to get too serious, but it's like things kind of suck right now in the world and in this country. And it's like cheesy, but we really all are kind of here together. I think it's healthy to learn about other people, know what they do. This is not a political podcast either, by the way. I'm sorry if that disappoints some people, but it's like I don't really want to talk about politics unless that's a big part of your identity. If you happen to have a career in that or whatever, I don't really want to talk about it all that much. I want to keep this informative, a pleasant experience for people to, come and try to get away from your problems, just hang out, listen to us chat, try to have fun. Um, and then it's like when it comes to their careers, if they have a career, like I want to know how they got into it, what they do, if they like it, if there's something else they'd rather be doing, or, maybe it'll be people like myself and like Brian here who are, just we're in our mid 30s and working towards our careers. It's never too late to actually want to work towards something. Um, so that's all I really have to say about that. Like, we're just going to chit chat. I got a bunch of questions I want to ask these guys, and I'm sure we'll talk about some dumb stuff. Also, a little warning: this is an adult show. We're not going to go out of our way to be crass and crude, but we will probably slip up from time to time. Plus, it's 9:00 at night, so if your kids are up, you're a terrible parent anyway. So you're probably going to let them watch, right? so, so first up. I want to go ahead and I want to introduce my two guests here. And the reason why these guys are here is because honestly, they're probably going to be here for most of the episodes, if not both of them, at least one of them. I'm going to try to work our schedule so that we can be here because, well, we'll get into them and then we'll talk about why that is. So first up, we have a man who, if you've ever stepped within the city limits of Conneaut, Ohio, you've met him. I don't think that there is a portion of the population that doesn't know who he is, simply because of who he is and the things that he's done in town. He's the former owner of JD's Pizza, and he is also the current owner of both a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X. His name is Eugene Emery. So Eugene, thanks for coming.
Oh, thanks. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, give out my address too, so I know who to expect.
Yeah. Well, Eugene lives out in the boonies of Conneaut, so good luck. Here's a tip: you can't get there in the wintertime. Second, he is actually a former boss of mine. That's how I met him. He was my manager at a dead-end job that we both worked at. And I would say currently he's sort of a creative partner. Like when I started doing podcasting, he was like a person who really went together. We've taken our breaks and everything, but I've always tried to include him because I know he enjoys it and we have a good time doing it. He is he's a husband. He's a father of four, and he, like me, is a bearded, long-haired college student in his mid-30s. His name is Brian Seymour. So, Brian, thank you.
Hey, it's glad to be here, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad. Brian actually, we both do podcasts. He does one called, what's the podcast you do?
Ash to Mouth.
Yeah, I know it's been a little while, but you guys are going to get back to it, right?
That's the plan. Yeah, we definitely broke it off because of COVID.
Yeah.
So we would like to get back to it eventually.
Good. Yeah, I want you to. And Eugene, we had actually talked before about doing something like this, like getting on, just sort of chatting, because we have a great time talking. Like, we laugh, which obviously, no one wants to hear people laugh at their own jokes. But I think that we could be pretty entertaining. So we'll see. We'll find out about I'm sure someone will let us know if anybody watches in the comments. I already got one yesterday. We did a very short practice episode, and the first comment was like, "No one gives a fuck about your live stream," and that was it. That was just the one comment. I was just like, cool.
The world's gonna, lift us up.
Yeah, and it's gonna be. I'm not a thick-skinned person. I'm a thick boy that's 2 C's, but I'm pretty thin-skinned, so I'm gonna have to learn how to just like let it slide right off. I like criticism. I like constructive criticism. I want to know how to make things better. It's like we have an audience. We want to give them what they want to hear, what they want to see. That's fine, but dickheads are dickheads. So first off, right off the bat, I feel like we have to address the elephant in the room, and that is not a weight joke. So, let's not get there. Eugene. I don't want anybody to be uncomfortable with this question, but you are Asian, correct?
I'd be a half Asian.
Half Asian. Okay. Do you find that debilitating?
To what effect? Because I guess I never had to deal with the downsides of it, because predominantly as you can tell, I don't really look Asian. If anything, I could pass off if I let my hair out and let it go greasy. I'd be one of them good old boys.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that, honestly. I think you could pass as a Samoan pretty easily.
Well, if we had enough sunlight in Northeast Ohio,
So
then we'll walk around shirtless.
How are your math skills?
Good enough to get by.
Good enough to get by. Okay. Driving? Do you have any difficulties with that?
You must. It's not just Asians. Asian women drivers. Come on now.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
We had one speeding ticket, and that was with you.
Wait. Oh, was that when we were coming back from Cleveland?
Yes.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, if you happen to be listening, we are fully aware that men are also terrible drivers. This is not an attack on women. Slight attack on Asians, but that's okay. We don't hold it against you, Eugene.
Race is okay, gender not so much.
Well, yeah, you can't do anything about race.
You can't really do anything about gender either.
Oh, well, I told you, no politics.
Hey, you also forgot to mention, I was dabbling in politics a little myself.
No, I was going to bring it up. I just didn't get to it. I actually couldn't remember what exactly it was that you had ran for, so I didn't put it into your thing. But we will get to that.
We'll get to that.
So I got my cards that I'm going to ask because I wanted to be a host. And the first one was ask Eugene about being Asian. So that's done. I don't need to save that one. That's a specific card for you.
Brian, be worried if he says second suitor.
Oh, all right. Let's see here. It's dark in here because I wanted to set the mood. I don't know if you. This is a fireside chat with Matt. If you couldn't tell, so it's got, the it's a Christmassy thing. Christmas tree back there. Michelle likes all white lights. I hate it. I wish there was some color.
More like Uncle Tom chats with Matt.
Oh. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. Eugene, I'm going to ask you this first, and then Brian, we'll get to you. So basically what I want to do is I want to find out more about you, how you, grew up, how you are as a person. So we got to start where it all started. And let's talk about your parents, Eugene.
Oof.
What do your parents do?
So my parents are still working. My father, he's 65, doesn't know what the word retirement means. He was a former police officer. Now he's working the security district for the federal courthouse. And so technically he works for not the Secret Service, but the federal marshals. Okay. He works for the U.S. Marshals pretty much, as making sure people come in and go in and out of the building, fine.
Yeah.
And then my mother, she actually is one of my coworkers working for the local school district. She is a master of the custodial arts, since we'll go with the Asian theme of things here.
Mm-hmm. Well, she used to do, and I don't know if it was technically subbing, but like she would sub in classes, wouldn't she?
Well, technically that's what I would do. She would do study halls,
okay.
Work in the kitchen because she was a parapro, and that's pretty much what I do. Technically, I'm a bus aide.
Okay.
During the times of COVID, now I'm a lunch distributor.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I just remember her, and it's like what you said, a study hall or something like that. I remember her being in there to fill in, and which is funny because now I think about it, and I feel like I didn't know you until after I got out of high school, but I must have if I knew who your mom was.
Well, I think it more plays on to my sister.
Maybe, yeah. Well, we'll get to that. That's another question. So, the other part of that question is, how is your relationship with your parents? You got a good one with them?
I have, I guess, would be. I can't call it a typical normal relationship. Like, so most people, my dad being a cop at the time made it a little rough. Everyone looked at me as like, oh, you're that cop's kid. And I'm like, I just happen to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just nothing scary, nothing crazy, but, already pegged, with the deck stacked against me. But, some people look at it as a positive, and I'm like, he can get us out of trouble. And I'm like, maybe me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But, it's, my relationship with them, like, I think it's true what they say. Like, when you get older, you become better friends. You become more friends with your parents than they are your parents. But in a sick, twisted fate of reality, like that whole, you're as a child, you grow, your parents raise you, and then as the coin flips, you're now taking care of your parents. It's gonna get to that point here real soon, I think. At least I feel I'm already got one foot in it.
Oh, really?
Well, it all starts with, hey, I can't figure out how to put the TV on the thing so I can watch the iTunes or the
Yeah, I was just talking with my mom yesterday and telling her about doing this, and she's like, "Well, how do I get on there and do this?" And because every time I try something, it's always going here and there, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know how to help you with this.
Do you feel like your frustration level just, it makes you feel like a kid again, and like that teenage angst just ramps up just a little bit?
Oh, like when you have that feeling of like when you're young and stupid and you think you're smarter than your parents, and then you get older and you're just like, I don't know, I am kind of smarter in some ways, but but you understand they are sometimes far more intelligent than you. So you have to watch what I say because I know my mom's going to watch this, and I don't want to insult her.
Oh boy.
My mom's a very intelligent woman. We'll just put it at that.
You know, I can flirt with her if you want a little bit more. I remember coming over your house. It'd just be fun to flirt, but nothing ever happened. Keep her sidetracked.
Well, Eugene, whatever gets me to be able to see you more often.
Ooh, you know, well, maybe we'll talk more about that later. I feel like I'm tethered to this town. You know, like if you can't get out, you're just, you know, if you can get out, get out.
You are a load-bearing citizen in Conneaut. If you get taken out, things will just crumble.
The east side just falls off.
Just right into Lake Erie. Oh, geez. All right. You got anything else you want to say about your parents? Oh, what about your mom?
Oh, she's making apples right now. She took the rest of this month off work, so she make these apples for everybody.
Hell yeah.
You
Still, as long as I've known you, I have never eaten any of your mother's food that I hear is so good.
There's you know, there's probably a good reason for that.
Yeah, because your parents hate me.
There's a reason for that too.
Do you happen to know if they still feel that way? I mean, have I ever been brought up?
I think maybe for that first month or two, but then after that kind of tapers off. You know, once they found out that whole list thing.
This thing, I don't know what you're talking about. We'll have to talk about this later.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, Brian. What do your parents do?
My mom is the head of the scheduling department at the local hospital. My dad's a retired construction worker. I guess being in the union and construction is kind of like the military because he's thinking about going back for another tour. When spring gets here, he's talking about going back to work, and I guess he'll be able to pull in his pension plus also receive a working paycheck.
Wow.
So, yeah, it'll be nice.
Is he still doing the motorcycle thing?
Oh yeah,
Working on them.
He'll well yeah, that he's been a Harley guy his entire life since he was like 16. He fixes them up and resells them. He'll be on a Harley until the day he dies.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha. And you get along with them?
You know, for the most part, yes. They're really good parents. We don't always see eye to eye on different things, especially politics, but you know, yeah, they're good parents.
Good. Yeah, I've only met him a couple times. I obviously like your mom more than your dad, but a lot of that just, I think, not that your dad was a jerk or anything when I met him. I think a lot of it is just because, like, you'll talk to me when you get frustrated, and it's always with your dad. And so I get this image in my head, and it's like, it's not like to say that you're saying anything worse, you know, like, I'm sure whatever you're saying is absolutely accurate, but I'm sure if you don't talk about politics, your dad's a perfectly fine dude.
Yeah.
And like you can have a fine conversation with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people's parents are that way.
Mm-hmm.
and anybody else, you know, uncles, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was quick. So Eugene. No, we're going to start with Brian. Brian,
I'm not ready.
do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have a younger brother. That's it.
All right. What does he do?
He is kind of like the IT/dispatcher for the local taxi company.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You have a good relationship with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing. Well, I guess that's about it. Good. Yeah. I'm glad.
The last time I had a fight with my brother, I was like 16. So
yeah. Well, that's good, man. I mean, that's surprising to hear. Well, it's not really. It's like, I guess most people, like siblings, they're more confrontational when they're younger. You know, like when my sister and I were younger, we hated each other, but I'm not really. But you know, we fought.
Yeah.
Now it's like I couldn't tell you the last time we ever yelled at each other.
Yeah.
That's good. Eugene, siblings. I mean, I know you guys both have siblings, but I want to hear if you have any.
2 younger sisters.
Yeah.
And as me being the oldest, and it cascades down. Uh, Going back to your first question of relationship with parents. Um, so idiot. Second one's semi-educated. The last one's got her master's.
Hmm.
So they did well in the spec.
Yeah.
How's the test?
Yeah, and it's funny. I just realized like weight gain too. It's kind of like
Yeah,
sorry.
wait. Yeah, I can see my parents. My dad going, Abby, just feed him. He'll go away
Yeah.
and go to sleep.
God damn it, that kid won't stop eating. Just give him his food. I gotta go. And then,
I can't yell at him anymore. Just throw him some food and he'll fall asleep, and I don't have to yell at him anymore.
and then when your youngest sister was born, they just like looked at you and they're just like, put locks on the cupboards. No McDonald's.
Yeah, we're gonna know what it's like to measure food out.
That's right. We're buying a scale, a kitchen scale. And that's when they just shipped you off somewhere. They're like, just get Eugene out of here. We got to focus on these daughters. That's good. I didn't write them down, but do you guys have any nieces or nephews?
2 nieces, 1 nephew.
Wow. Are those all from your second sister?
No, the niece and nephew from one, and a second niece from the other.
Oh, I didn't realize your youngest had any kids.
Yeah, well, no, no one talks about the educated ones because they're
Yeah.
well off.
Well, they're gone. Like
Well, they're living in Canton.
Oh, really? I thought they were like down in. I don't know why. I thought they were like down in Texas or something.
They were. They.
Oh, okay.
He got his doctorate down in Texas.
Wow.
My brother-in-law, and then, he got offered a teaching job back at their college that they went to, and then
Wow.
so he's teaching there, and then he got offered another position. He teaches in Boston, so like he flies to Boston like twice a month.
Wow. Good for him.
Well, I'm sure with all this COVID, it's probably I don't ask because
Yeah. Well, I just meant in general, good for him. I always liked him. Like I got along with him. So if it's who I'm thinking of.
No. This is the other one. Jason can't teach.
No. I was talking about who you're talking. Eric.
Oh no, they split up years ago. Like,
I didn't know that either.
Oh well, they split up. I think her sophomore year.
Oh shit. Yeah, I'm not on top of things. So
Well, they're fighting the whole distance thing, and in that case, distance did not make the heart grow fonder.
it is very hard. Oh, that's interesting. All right. You spend a lot of time with it. Brian, you don't have any, do you?
Just through marriage.
Okay.
My brother doesn't have any kids.
That he knows of.
Right.
Yeah. You spend a lot of time with him, Eugene?
Not really.
No.
When I see him at work, that's about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Sometimes outside of work, family functions, things like that, but as of right now.
Yeah. So what we'll start with you, Eugene. What are some like positive memories that you have about your childhood, like growing up? Like maybe things you regularly did or specific like just memories that you have, whether they involve your parents or friends or and I mean like younger, I guess more focused on like kindergarten through middle school.
So, I have more negatives than positives in the sense because like the whole like coming of age tale. So back to when I was saying my dad was a police officer, he was working all the time. Mom pretty much raised us, even though she worked. So we were either at the babysitters or, at school and then at home at night. So, and also I went to a Catholic school till about 7th grade. So yeah, like I said, the positives not so much, other than the fact that the class size was small in the sense at the Catholic school. And it's like I remember in 1st grade we had like 33 kids, and by the time we got to 6th grade, there's 8.
Wow.
Yeah, because after like a lot of kids in middle school at 6th grade go to the public middle school, where you
Mhm.
go to a class of like 130 some.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
for me it was always like everything was small. Like I don't want to say it was like like it was like a religious household in a sense. Like my dad always worked. We went to church every Sunday. Um, you know, it instilled some cores and beliefs that I don't follow.
Mhm.
But I know the idea of right and wrong. Um,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
just as a side note, I've always found, like, just from my experience, friends that I've had, or anybody else really, uh, the ones that are like really staunch, like atheist, and I'm not saying you are. I don't know if you are, but like those are the ones that were usually raised Catholic. It's like with Catholicism, you either get like sucked in and you're there for life, or by the time you're a teenager, you've completely turned on it and just hate
um,
everything about it.
if anything, I'm more an agnostic. Like, there's gotta like, I'm not gonna say, like you look at the world in your own, in your own sense of, see who's right, who's wrong, with all the multifacets of religion, and it comes to the point of like, you have to take your own path in this case, and for me, it's like, well, who's to say, it wasn't Allah, or if we're not on the giant, turtle, and on the back
Floating
of the
in
giant
space.
turtle. So as soon as that turtle wakes up, we're all done. um, but for me, like I said, it instilled cores and beliefs, and like give you like a moral sense. But other than that, for religious, if you want to go to church and take the wafer, more power to you.
Hmm.
um, or whatever helps whoever's self get through their day. Because for me, I won't preach religion on the people unless I feel as if they need to find like a higher power, in a
Gotcha.
sense.
Okay. Interesting. So nothing positive at all.
I think the positive was I'll turn you to God if I feel like you need to.
Okay. All right.
That's a positive.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, sure.
I mean, all the coming of age tales, from the childhood, like I said, I got a good core of beliefs. I'll turn you to God if you need to.
Okay.
I'm all about the self support, but I can't really think of like a good. I don't know. Maybe it's because like the way progression moves, and as a child, you look at the world as a child, like give me my Nintendo, give me the X-Men, TV shows, cartoons, like that's a fun time. I've had friends come and go, and so I guess in the sense of like having a positive, there's probably either too many or not enough to list.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Brian, what about you?
My favorite moments from childhood, probably I grew up in Menor until I was 9. So I would say that my favorite memories are just going out and riding my bike with my friends as a kid, just exploring the world without my parents,
Hmm.
getting that sense of in being independent. And um, yeah, that's probably my favorite memory. Um, Other than that, like during the winter months, playing the Nintendo. Uh, and believe it or not, I was actually forced to go to church until I was about 13 or 14 years old every
Wow.
Sunday. And I was in an after school thing every Wednesday.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I know there's a lot of people. I had to go to church when I was younger, but it wasn't like all the time. It was basically when my grandma forced us to go. My
Yeah.
mom wasn't a big church goer, but grandma sure was. And it was
Yeah.
getting on the black slacks, the white
And
shirt, the black tie.
The funny part is, I think it was my grandmother who, made my mom feel obligated to take us to church.
Yeah.
My dad never went. He actually complained about it, said that we shouldn't be going to church so much. And then we stopped one day, and it was great.
Your dad finally won, and he confirmed your descent to hell right then and there. He said, "No kids of mine are gonna have chances that I never had."
My dad was actually raised Catholic, and there was something that happened involving him being denied as the godfather to a friend of his child, and from that moment on, he was like, "I'm done with the Catholic Church. I'll never let anybody go there that I love anymore," and blah blah blah.
Wow. So it was a Catholic church that you had to go to as a kid?
No, actually, we went to a Baptist church because that was my mom's mother's church.
Okay.
So yeah.
Sure. So Brian, what are some of the different? I don't know. I didn't ask you guys what you actually do now, right?
Hey, wait.
Well,
Before
yeah,
we move on, let me ask you this: do you think our childhoods would be different if we went to like one of those churches, like the TV evangelist churches you always see, like the Fred Copeland, or
I'm sure.
Like, you ever see those like big churches where it looks like it's a
mega
giant
church
festival or whatever?
Yeah.
Like,
do you think we'd be happier?
Do you think if they pushed that, like, oh, look at all these people, they're all Christians?
I don't know. I think that I think any kind of religion, I think pushing anything on a kid is going to make them turn against it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm far more open to religion now as an adult because it wasn't like forced onto me. And I didn't feel like the need to rebel against it. So I don't know, like maybe those mega churches, maybe, I don't know how those people are. I'd love to find out, but I'm sure it's the same type of, you grow up in this crazy environment. But
when I see him, I think of like, it's the the arena rock band vibe, like, yeah, Jesus.
Right. Yeah. My experience with church was always like, sit down, shut up, don't talk, except for when they're singing, then you have to stand up and sing.
Yeah.
But then those televangelist churches, it's literally like a rock concert.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be fun.
Yeah, maybe that would be different. And I'm sure, like, I've seen some churches now. I wouldn't mind going to church, like right now as an adult, but I don't want to go to a church like I went to when I was younger. I want to go to one where it's like about love and talking and having fun, and it's not all serious, quiet. I'm gonna stand up here and read from the Bible and all this other stuff, and then you just sing and stand whenever I tell you to or whatever. Like, that's not church. That's not.
Well, isn't that like predominantly like the structured church? Like, if you go to Catholic church, you have your typical, you walk in, you sit down, and then from there it's standing, sit, stand, kneel, stand. It's a routine. And I mean, a lot of places, they build a routine, but I haven't yet come across a place like we were saying, like the Arena Rock Band church. Like, maybe different.
Maybe I would not mind my pastor like holding an electric guitar and smoking a cigarette at the podium or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
He sits it like in the guitar, and he's just like, I'm gonna play a little tune from the Bible. Oh, geez. What did I ask?
You still have the card?
Yeah, I got it. I didn't throw this one out yet. All right, Brian. So we know right now, you are unemployed, contributing nothing to society, which is fine. I'm not either. You're going to school. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the jobs that you've had previously in your life?
Mostly retail and restaurant jobs. I worked at Sears for a long time. I've worked at Tractor Supply, Pizza Hut. That's where we met.
Mm-hmm.
That's the majority of what I did. for
Gotcha.
the last 18 years of my life.
What's the worst job that you had?
The worst job, hmm, probably when I worked at Walmart for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
I was cart pusher. That's awful.
I bet. What was your best job?
Um, Probably, you know, it's hard to say, but I would say I had the most fun working at Pizza Hut.
Mhm.
If it wasn't for the people that were in charge of us, it was a great job.
I agree completely. Like that's when I think about that, like I probably could have done that for years, especially like working with you and like some of the people that we liked. But it was
You
just
know,
having to constantly deal with that upper management who just did not
right.
understand.
If we had the same, like, you remember Bob, he was our district manager.
Mhm.
If he had been our district manager the entire time, and if he was still there, and the people that own the franchise weren't the people that own the franchise,
Mhm.
I'd probably still be there
Yeah.
because I really enjoyed working for him. He was a nice
Yeah.
guy. So
Yeah, I bet it's different. And there are some people like it's too bad the guy who owns the McDonald's franchise didn't own the Pizza Hut one too, because apparently he's a great guy to work for. Michelle worked for him for years, and she said he was awesome. And like the McDonald's up there, like the ones that he owns, are so much better than the ones that she worked at, like down in Athens and like
is
different
he
places.
is he the guy that owns the one here in Edgewood?
I think so. I think he owns all the ones like in Ashtabula County.
Okay, I think I know who he is actually.
Was that a fair statement I just made then, or would you disagree?
Maybe, I don't know. I
Okay.
never really worked for him, but I've heard good things about him. His
Okay.
name I believe his name's Larry Raymond, if that
It
sounds familiar.
might be, but yeah, I just know I've heard really good things about him.
Yeah.
Eugene, what are some jobs that you have had in your life?
Well, so in high school, I was a bag boy at the Giant Eagle.
Oh wow.
That was the first job at 16. And then from there, I moved on to working to deck vending, which was
Okay.
it was an all right job. The perks was all the free all the candy, not free candy, but free if you got away with it.
Yeah.
And then from there, working at JD's Pizza for God knows how long.
Still working there.
Yeah, yeah. Technically, I'm not on the schedule, so
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. So from there was so from JD's, I was on and off for I want to say 18 years, and so there's a few jobs in between like that stuck, and some that were just miserable.
Mhm.
So I worked at Andover Industries for a total of 3 days, and learned like that was the most miserable job I've ever worked.
Mhm.
Not in the sense like it's factory work or anything like that. Just the people you worked with were like useless, helpless. It was like you do your job and you keep your head down and just like do your parts. And it's like no one socializes. Like can't go. Like it's like nope. It's like it's a bitter place. And I was like, I will never work that place. A factory. Or I will never work in any place where it feels like you're walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after that, I was going to college at the same time, on and off. And then I got a job working at the schools back in 2007. Maybe it was 2008, somewhere in there. And, I've been
Has
working.
it really been that long? Wow.
Yeah, 13 years.
Wow.
And
I've never worked at a place more than 5 years.
It feels weird. Even at 13 years, you feel like, your job's still on the line.
Yeah.
Or you're on the chopping block.
Mhm.
And then working. No, best job was probably working for Bruce when I bartended.
Yeah.
And then because it was Bruce's, but at the same time it had its ups and downs.
Yeah. It's a place that you loved. That's probably how I felt when I got to work at Homestead. You know, like I loved the place. I wanted to support it. I wanted to help it any way that I could. Got to, you know, talk to people, meet people, you know, but it had its negative parts too.
Yeah. So, well, the negative aspects for that is now, like, you're the babysitter for all your drunk friends.
And I'm sure you had to deal with like, oh, come on, Eugene, just give me a beer. Come
Yeah,
on,
well,
man. You know, just
Bruce.
wanting to get free shit.
You know, there'd be days where like, you know what, Bruce could give a little today.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I'm sure you had to deal with that at JD's too.
Oh, you know how many friends come out of the woodwork, you know, or you know, the first 6 months, I can tell you, being the owner of JD's was probably the roughest because I'm building things back up. I'm running through the gamut of like learning everything, like not in the sense it's brand new, but on the business side of things. And then, you know, hey, you want to donate to this? Hey, you want to donate to that? And like, let me at least make a couple nickels first because I'm rubbing pennies right now.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, what's crazy is, you know, that's probably the most place I've had the most dedicated time working at because it's not a hard job. It's easy money, but it's not money that you're gonna retire on. Like if you need lunch money for the week, you know, work a night or two there and you're set.
Yeah. Brian, did you ever work at a factory at any point?
I did work a couple months at Premix.
Yeah.
And it was a lot like what Eugene was just saying. Like the 2 months I was there, it was, this is where you're going to be tonight. Do your job. And you couldn't really talk to people because you were just, it was too loud and you were too far apart. And I hated it.
Yeah. I could never work at a factory, and it's not like I don't look down at people who can do it. Like I'm really impressed, especially guys who can. You have to have a certain mentality of like I'm just here to make money and just get my job done. I can't do that. I actually just got, because I've been looking for a job because I got, you know, in March I was laid off because of the whole COVID thing, and then eventually I was just like let go permanently because my job was eliminated because they had to make changes because of everything going on. And now with unemployment coming to an end, it's like, well, shit, like I don't know what to do. Can't find a job, but I got on Indeed, a message from a guy who works. It's like, come be an apprentice glass blower. And I'm like, the hell is this? I got to check this out. That sounds dangerous. I want to check this out. But then I got in there and realized it's for the factory in town, which is it's Anchor Hawking. It's a glass factory. And that's the thing. And it's just like, man, I'm sure I'd make money. And if I was desperate enough, but it's like, I think I'd rather just die. I'd rather just lay down on the couch and just stay there until I was dead instead of having to go and do that. I'd find some other way to make money. But I get it. Like these guys who do that, it's impressive.
Yeah. You know what? If it's the whole, you know, being miserable for all that, you know, like the factory jobs, if I had the strength and the wherewithal, I'd be like those guys on the angriest or the deadliest catch. I work 1 month out of the year and I go fishing for crabs and then, you know, slip on the ice, you know, our boat may capsize, you know, but that risk and reward, you work 1 month and have the rest of the year off.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it does make me wonder. Like I can think of a friend of ours, Matt, who he works at Premix. He's been working there for years, and it's like his whole thing because he went to concerts. Like it's what he did all the time. And so for him, I don't know. I've never talked to him about him. I shouldn't assume like what's going on in his head, but I feel like it's got to be a lot harder doing a job like that when you can't actually enjoy doing anything like outside of it. You know what I mean? Like if there's something you really love to do and now all of a sudden because of COVID, like what if that's your one thing that gets you going every day to work and you're just like, yeah, it's fine because I know this weekend I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to go and do this. And then all this shit happens and it's like, what am I even doing? Why am I doing this? Just a thought I had.
Well, the funniest thing about Matt, he used to be the guy who'd take the concerts, be like, "Go, I'm gonna sit in the back." He
What do you
would never
mean?
go to the front in the pit.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
and
I
then
was the same way. So
after all these years of hanging out with Elliot, now he's like, "Oh, let's go to the shows." It's like, Matt, we're getting older. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I could handle a pit. Like, you throw me in there, like my hip.
Exactly. Oh, my back. Everybody help that man get out of here. Oh, geez. All right. So speaking of that, how do you, and I'll start with you, Eugene, how do you fill your free time?
Oh, well, there's a
Other
lot.
than obvious. You're
Not
sitting
what
there
you
in your
think.
bathrobe. Who knows what you got from the waist down?
Well, I mean, we could find out.
No, sit down.
Interesting.
Your butt is glued to that seat.
Well, not so much, but we don't get demonetized just yet. But no, so I don't know. I never had. I'm at that point in my life where I'm creating. Like, I have all the free time now, but now it's like for the past 2 years I didn't have any, and now that I finally have some, it's like a little overwhelming because it's like, what am I gonna do? Like, squirrel,
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, trust me, I know.
so what happens is, you end up investing. Like, I have a book that I bought that I'm maybe like 42 pages in, and it's been sitting on the counter for 2 weeks now. I started getting back into playing video games again. Just all these different things. Like I try to make it a point to talk to people because it's in a time of of antisocial disorders.
Mhm.
Not
Well, that was what I think even led us to the idea of doing this, is just having some sort of interaction and having something to do and look forward to, and giving someone else something to look forward to, if they enjoyed what they heard. Because right now it's all about just trying to keep yourself from going crazy.
Yeah, so I started I started like the idea, like I put a command center together. I got the PlayStation, the Xbox. I'm even playing on PC. That I've even gone as far as like,
All at the same time.
yeah, pretty much. Like, it's like, well, let's do this all at once, and then like it's like taking a handful of darts and throwing it at the wall, like with the wall of ideas. And
Yeah.
so every once in a while, I'll stream on Twitch, just because it's like, well, if I get one person to watch, at least someone's doing something.
Yeah. Hey man, I just looked at our YouTube stream. We got 4 people watching. That makes me feel great. 4 people.
Were you thinking the Four Horsemen as well?
I was. I don't know if Brian picked up on that, but I certainly did.
So wait, who's Ric Flair? Who's gonna be Ric Flair?
Oh shit, dude! You know what? I don't care. I want to be Arn Anderson.
Ah, good choice. Good choice.
I'm gonna give you a fucking spine buster.
Wasn't Dean Malenko part of that too?
There's a couple variations. The last one that existed, I think, was Flair, Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, and Chris Benoit.
Ooh,
Chris isn't here right now. He's not here. Eugene, you're clearly Flair, and Brian is he's Dean Malenko because he was the quiet, technical guy.
I accept that.
Okay.
Much better than Chris Benoit.
Yeah. Now, Tim was on here. I would say he could be Chris Benoit.
Oh.
All right.
The Crimson Crush, the Crimson Crippler, or whatever.
Crippler Crossface.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. All right, Brian. What about you? What do you do in your the very limited free time that you have?
The same. I do have the PS5.
Yeah.
I also like to watch a lot of movies and TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Yeah. I understand. Do you guys have any hobbies or anything?
As a family,
Or sure, yeah, as a family.
oh, um,
You guys all get together and paint
I,
your Warcraft or your Warhammer minifigures.
I was gonna say it's just gonna be video games again.
Yeah. Well, when I said you guys, I meant you and Eugene. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you and the whole family.
I don't know. I don't do anything with Brian. This is it. This is what we do.
All right. I should have been a little more clear. I've learned from that mistake. Thank you. Fucking assholes. All right. Yeah, it's hard to find, time to do stuff. I'm kind of the same way, Eugene. It's like I'm just here day after day after day. And I think about how when I was working, it's like all I wanted to do was be at home and I could do all of these things. And now I have all that time. And it's like, I just want to fucking get out of the house. Need to get away from the dogs, need to entertain myself. But yeah, that's, why I decided to start doing this. So I had something to look forward to.
There's one thing I can say. I'm happy it never came to that point or anywhere near it. Like, I never could figure out why, like David Carradine went out the way he did. But, I'm happy like the idea never crossed the mind.
Yeah. I think he was an accident.
Well, the accident was, but I'm saying the boredom never came across the, hey,
good idea. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to follow through all the way.
Just risk it all.
Yeah, it's like it's like Eugene, you could just try heroin. I hear it's pretty, pretty amazing. So,
well, like I said, the one day I'm just gonna wake up like, who could I call to order one heroin today?
One heroin, please.
I just need one heroin, please.
Yeah. All right.
Or like, I don't think I've slept enough yet today. Get some more heroines.
What, Brian, what's something that you're very passionate about? Other than love making.
It's a really tough question. I don't know if I don't know if I've found my passion yet. Everything's I have many things that occupy me, but nothing that is really like something that I devote everything to. Other than my family.
I'm glad you said that because I was just going to give you an immense amount of shit. There's nothing I really devote any time to or really give a shit about.
I pretty much hate everything.
The only thing I look forward to is my next meal. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the this last semester of being back in school has been very positive for me. I feel like I'm on the right track. So maybe hopefully this will become my passion of, the path that I'm following, which is accounting.
The exciting world.
I happen to be really good with math. I don't know how.
Wait, did you say meth or math?
Math.
Ah.
I was never good with the meth.
Yeah. Always get the jitters with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, that's I saw somebody make a comment earlier today. Oh, it was Jake, and he said something. Oh, I don't see a lot of people talking about how 2021 is going to be their year because it's going to suck. But I was thinking about it, and it's like, barring me or anybody else that I care about getting sick and dying, like I actually think things could go pretty well for me. Like if I find a job, I mean, I could lose everything if I can't find a job and we go broke, but school wise, it's like I'm very happy with how this semester turned out. Like I think I'm going to end the semester with straight A's, which is not something that I ever thought I would accomplish in my entire life. So it's like I'm very proud of that, and it's nice to actually find something that interests me. It's funny though, because the thing that I'm going for is electronic media, but my psychology class is the class that I was just like, wow, I find a lot of this really fascinating and I want to learn more and get into it. But then I'm in this period where it's like I'm 35 years old. What could I do like with psychology? Like I would have to be in school for so long to be able to actually use a psychology degree for anything I want to do, because I know at least four different people who graduated with their psychology degree and don't do anything with it because they couldn't actually do any of the stuff they want to do, and I guess they didn't want to go back to school. So yeah, I'm kind of in that boat of just like, I find it really interesting, but do I really want to devote the next 10 years of my life to it?
That's one of those fields where it seems like it must have been like really overcrowded, because it was like if you knew 10 people that were in school, 5 of them were going for some type of like sociology or psychology or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Or nursing. Like those are the especially around Kent State, Kent Ashtabula. I think nursing was the biggest one there. But yeah, psychology was like up there too. So.
Well, Ashtabula's kind of lucky to even have that nursing unit because it's the only branch that has it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they're very lucky then.
Mm-hmm.
They probably got a lot of people coming from.
They do.
Having to travel there.
Kim had a lot of peers in her classes that were coming from like Erie, PA, Menor, even up from Youngstown.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, you'd think Youngstown would probably be closer just to go to Stowe, wouldn't it? Or Kent?
Yeah, maybe half and half.
Yeah, maybe not.
It depends what they offer too, I guess.
Yeah. Eugene, what about you? Is there anything that you're like really passionate about?
Oh, food.
Yeah.
Just I don't have kids, so I can't play the family card.
Yeah.
I got a cat. Does that count?
I don't know. Are you passionate about your cat? Do you devote time and effort to keeping it alive? And
like I said, I'm at the point now where it's like I don't really have passions for anything. It's like I don't know if it's because I'm getting closer to 40 or the fact that I don't want to say like I've done so much, but at the same time, like when you have no time and you finally try to create time and then COVID happens, it's like, well, what do you do? Do I just go play in the woods and like do I just hermit myself in some way, or do we do this, or or go, just be like those other, be like the crazies, just like I ain't gotta wear no mask anywhere I go, and just go out in the world and be like, look, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if some of it has to do with like, the getting older aspect. And, when I was younger, it's like, I just wanted to consume like all media. You know what I mean? I wanted to read these books, these comic books, watch these movies, play these games, watch these TV shows. And then it's just after years and years of it. And now it's suddenly it seems like it's an endless stream of things. It's like, I think it killed. It's kind of like my first job was working at the movie theater. I loved going to the movies. I was there like almost every single weekend. Even if there wasn't anything new, I would just go and watch something that I knew I liked. I was there. And then I started working at the movie theater. And it kind of killed my enjoyment of going to the movies. Like, I still liked working there. It's still so far my favorite job I've ever had. But it was just something about being surrounded by it all the time that just sort of killed it. And then I think, we're at that point now where everything's so like oversaturated. I feel like I don't want to consume anymore. I just want to create. It's like I could sit here and read a book. I'm in the middle of reading a book right now and I really enjoy it. But I get into this mindset of just like, I'm wasting my time. Which I know is not right. Like, we're not wasting our time if we enjoy whatever it is that we're doing. But Yeah, I think maybe that kind of ties into getting older, and it's like you want to start feeling like you're gonna leave a mark on something. You want to have something to show for your life,
Well,
and maybe too as someone who doesn't have kids, like you don't have kids either.
well,
And go ahead.
when you look at it as far as like leaving your legacy behind, I, I I don't think of it as like what am I going to leave behind, but more the whole if I do what I do and it leaves an impact, it shouldn't be on me to think about what it is because then that'd make it point, it like make it moot. Um, in the sense of like, well, if you're doing these things because you want to be remembered, then you're just doing it for the show or for the attraction.
It's not even so much about being remembered, it's about having an impact and having an effect, which I think you would agree with because you did run. What did you run for in town?
City council president
City council president. And why did you do that?
to make change.
Exactly. Because you wanted to do something significant, even if it was just in our little, my hometown, your hometown. And it's like you wanted to do something different and you wanted to help in your mind.
You know what the worst thing is? Like as much as change I would have made to try to at least, um, the effort I put into it and like the whole idea behind it of how it all started was shit. If anyone can run this town, like why can't it be someone that cares for it or
Mhm.
there's no political affiliation or anything where there's no, like the sad part is like to run just to run.
Yeah.
And like because like an idea is in the back of my head is like well why can't I do it just to create the change like at the beginning that's what it was and then as it gets closer to it I didn't run a dirty election. Um I didn't like want to slander or poke, because then it makes it. I mean, it makes it interesting, but at the same time, it takes the honesty out of it. I guess.
Mhm.
I mean, the fact that I missed out by 8% goes to show like there's a lot of people that were backing my play.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you going to do it again?
Oh no.
Why not?
After being a business owner,
Oh,
uh,
really?
it's one of those things like if I were to run, I would have ran this fall, but with COVID and all this, like I have no ambition, like especially with the like the whole presidential, like politics is just not where it should be right now.
Well, I think that's why we need people like you in there, though, to kind of help move it towards where it should be.
Um,
I think you should run again. That's just my opinion.
let's just see if I'm still in town in the next 2 years.
Okay, yeah, there's that too. I've thought about it down here, like not even like we live in such a conservative area, and I know I said I didn't want to talk about politics, so I'm breaking my rules already. But I've actually thought about running for different positions, not so much even because I thought I would win, but more to kind of get the idea out there to people that there are options for you. You don't have to just vote for these people because you've always voted for them. I might not say everything you want to hear, but I might say some things that really make you, think. So I've contemplated it, but I don't even know how to get started in it or anything. I want to finish my classes first and get a degree, and then we'll see about what else I could do. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. We got we're getting down towards the end. We've been going for about an hour now. How you guys feeling about this?
Good. Yeah.
Good. All right, good. Um so this kind of goes with what we were just talking about. If you could do one thing to help improve our society, what would it be? Like anything you could do. What? So basically, I'm just asking, like, what do you guys think is the biggest thing, the biggest detriment to our society?
Um, Can it be something that I could not do myself, but if I were able to make it happen, I would?
Yes.
Okay. I would say free healthcare for all American citizens.
Okay.
I think that would be like the biggest first step to take.
Okay. I agree. That would absolutely make a huge difference. It's one of those things where you want to think about, well, what could help get people in the right mindset. Not that you want everybody to think the same, but you want them. I would be very happy if everybody kind of had an open mind about things. I think it'd be a lot easier to get people on the same page if they were happier and healthier and not stressed out and concerned about health issues and whatnot. So yeah, I think that would definitely help the general attitude, other than just the regular health of our society.
Mhm.
So Eugene, what do you think?
Oh boy, I don't know how to follow that one. That's a good answer. A good answer. Because my answer is gonna be like, man, Thanos had a great idea.
Yeah.
But no one has the stones, so we can't really do that.
Yeah. No one has the stones to eliminate half of all life on the planet.
But I mean, the whole idea of what he like, you could actually argue like was he really a bad guy for trying to do that?
Well, all right. I don't want this to go off on a Infinity War tangent, but I'm just gonna say that with all that power that he had, he could have just wished for those resources to be constantly regenerating so that they wouldn't run out of it. He had all the power that you could ever imagine at the snap of his fingers. And instead of just thinking, you know what, let's make all those, resources, the minerals, the food, the water, instead of just like a constantly refilling source. Let's just kill half of them, which doesn't even solve the problem, because eventually it's going to be, thousands of years later, they're going to get to the same exact problem.
Well, and destroying half the life also destroys half the food, doesn't it?
They never talk about that, but I would assume so. And then it's like, how much of the resources that we get come from living things other than human beings? It's like you said, it's like, what about so are half the trees dead?
Mhm.
Is our oxygen supply now gone? Thanos, you fucking idiot.
I think it was implied, like the plant life was okay since they found them, with a garden.
Yeah, well, half of them would still be there. No, like everything he plants, like half of it, just never mind.
God,
it was a stupid plan, and that's why he's a villain, because he didn't have the thought of maybe I could just help people instead of erasing them.
Well, yeah, like I said, I can't beat Brian's answer.
Free healthcare for all.
Yeah.
There it is. Put Bernie back in.
Oh, good Lord. All right. Get out of here. Question. What's something, we'll start with you, Eugene. What's something that people misunderstand about you?
I don't know. I think the answer lies in itself, of like in my place of relationships, like no family, no significant other.
So people assume you're a homosexual, and but you're not. So all right. So let's change the question. How do you think that people view you? Like, what do you think people think about you?
Well, I mean, they obviously have a positive effect. Like the fact, just running for public office, running a business, but then at the same time, you have your fair amount of people that call, complain, tell you straight to your face, that you're trash, and it's like, all right, I get it, and so I don't know, I don't like thinking of things in the sense of like that, like I just go about my day, like, because if you dwell on like wondering like how people think about you, you're gonna drive yourself insane, because there's gonna be some sort of line of thinking like, well, like, well, here's crazy Eugene coming around again, with his crazy ideas for being crazy,
Old man Emery.
Damn whippersnappers.
Yeah. All right. Brian?
Thanks. I don't know how to follow that one up, because Eugene's right. I mean, it's something that I don't dwell on either. For the most part, everybody I meet, I get along with. 95% of the time.
Yeah.
So I assume that people assume that I'm a nice guy, and I guess I am. I don't know.
All right. Okay. Very boring answers. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
Sorry.
you're very welcome, because
If people assume that I'm a hard worker, you're wrong.
That's not true. You are a hard worker. I know you are.
only for the things she's passionate for. Let's get it
Yeah.
Which is
Washing those
nothing.
dishes. I'm gonna tell you, Eugene, I think this is one of the reasons why I ended up liking Brian so much, is because I remember shortly after working at Pizza Hut, it was like a really busy night, and I was in the back washing dishes, and I look over and Brian's over there helping me like do the dishes. And I remember just thinking, like, aren't you the manager? Like, you were the general manager. And I don't remember if I asked you that or not. I think I did. And you were just like, well, someone's got to do the dishes. Like, someone's got to help. Like, shit needs done. And it was like, I realized the type of person you were was like, you weren't above it. You weren't above doing anything. Like, you knew we had a goal, things that needed to get done, and you were willing to step in and do that. And that really just showed me the type of person you were.
I also didn't want to be there till like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I know, but still, you could have told someone else, like, "Hey, go back there and help do some of the dishes."
There was a lady that worked with us. Her name was Kathy. She all the time she was like, "Why are you doing that? Don't do that. I'll do that." And she would say that about every single thing. And it was like, Kathy, there's nothing in the store that I don't do. I do everything.
Yeah, and that's because she was older and she probably had that mindset of, well, that's the manager. He doesn't do stuff. This is my job. I have to do these little things.
Right. Even when there was only like 2 people left in the store, it's like, what do you want me to go outside and smoke all night? Like,
yeah,
I have to do something.
And then it's like, if you open during the day, it's like, what do you think I do when I'm here by myself?
Right.
Like, because there were times you'd be there if it was really, Monday morning, you'd be there alone until noon.
Right.
So, yeah. All right. So that was a bad question. Not going to ask that one again. I took all these questions from like the top 50 things that you should ask on a first date. So, not really.
Oh, is one of the questions like that? So someone can get lucky tonight?
Can you tie a knot and a cherry stem in your mouth? Whatever it is.
At the end of this date, are you going to invite me up for coffee?
Well, Brian and I already drank our coffee, so
I'm so slighted.
If you could, this is a good one. If you could send a message back to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell them? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go. I would tell my 18-year-old self to not quit college, because I did. And now it's another 18 years later and I'm back in college. And it's like, I would just tell myself, one day you're going to go for that degree. So just do it now and stop being lazy and stop thinking that, you're a big boy and you can go off and be a grown up, because you're not ready. Yeah.
It's good. Eugene?
Go back to Boy Scouts, get a length of rope, and learn how to tie knots right?
No, I said 18.
Oh.
Hopefully you were out of Boy Scouts by 18.
Well, we'll get out your old your old handbook of how to tie knots, learn how to do the proper knot right.
Eugene, you could do that right now if you really need to. Okay,
Oh,
I'll send you some links. I've looked them up. No, I shouldn't say that. That's not funny.
Do it now. You know what? I really couldn't. I mean, if work out more, eat less,
Yeah.
get more sleep, some generic shit. I should have, some stuff I should have learned from my parents. If I would have listened a little bit more,
Yeah, it's. Oh, go ahead.
For me, it's like the stupid things I should have listened to for health reasons because, at this age, getting the beatus, I'm not. I believe I'm diagnosed with beatus because I have a terrible doctor, for who I have, and it's not like it, there's like heavy pickings out here.
Yeah. Well, I know what you mean. It's like I feel like I'm the same way, man. I sit there and I think about like, God, I wish I could go back to being 18 when I was just morbidly obese.
Yeah,
and not like critically obese now. I'm sure whatever the next level is, it's like, God, what I wouldn't give to just be like 275 pounds. And for most people, they're just like, Jesus Christ. I was watching an old episode of The Simpsons, and it was like the episode when Homer has to he goes on disability, like he purposely gets real fat.
Oh yeah.
And the point where he's like on disability is like 280 pounds or something like that. Or no, maybe it's like 310, something like that. But some weight where I'm just like, oh shit, I could have been on disability years ago. Times were different back then.
But he never learned the lesson in the end because, Burns, he paid for the liposuction.
He did. I wish I had a boss who would do. No, I don't. I would never do that. But yeah. Okay. All right. Good answers, fellers. I don't know what I'd say to myself because I would worry. Like I'm like you, Brian. I would think like, man, just stay in school, find something that you want to do, stick with it, get through it. But then I sit there and I worry like, well, where would my life be right now? Like
Yeah.
I've went through some really shitty years. Not the worst. Trust me, there's people who've had it a lot harder. But I've went through some not great years, but they're great now for what I mean. I'm happy and like love where I'm at. And I would worry about putting that in jeopardy, and where I'm at now, I don't know how I could have gotten here without going through those shitty years.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to say what I would do. Other like,
did I just erase my kids and am I an idiot?
Exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like
make more wrong choices.
We certainly wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to each other. Brian, you and I wouldn't be friends.
That's
we probably never would have even met each other. Eugene, I don't know. We didn't go to college together. We'd probably still be friends, but
I probably would have beat you up.
Yeah, that's we're only friends because Eugene could sense that I wasn't going to do anything with my life. Like if he would have thought, oh man, this guy, he might be successful someday, I better beat him up.
He's going to get popular.
Yeah. This guy might lose some weight. Fucking nerd.
If I don't beat him up now, he's not going to have that self-conscious, thing that makes him skinny.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lifetime of being picked on for being fat has not done the trick already. You were going to be the one to turn it around. See, what it took was another fat kid to make fun of me for being fat. That would have actually pushed me into...
Instead of being the compassionate guy's like, here, Matt, here's a candy bar too. One for you, one for me. Just, no.
Oh, where you going, Tubby? You going to get some lunch? Is you're sitting there like eating a buffet? Like... Hey, fat boy. Shit. All right, so we're going to get into some of the easy questions, little fun questions. What's your favorite movie? Eugene.
Ooh, I want to go with Reservoir Dogs still.
Wow, okay. Good choice. Brian?
I'd say Goodfellas.
Okay, both very good choices. Brian, what is your favorite band or singer?
That one's harder. I don't know. I have a lot of favorites. It's like every week I'm listening to something new, even if it's something that's 30 years old, you know.
Yeah. Well, what's one band that like you've listened to the longest that has consistently been like, oh, I really like this band?
Probably 9 Inch Nails.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eugene?
Like it's hard to have a favorite with anything anymore. Like with music streaming services, like there's a bunch of crap I'd never listened to, and then plus as you get older, you start listening to other stuff that sounds the same, and it's like, wait, did I listen to that before? And then it's like, wait a sec, maybe not.
I actually love going and listening to songs and being like, holy shit, I used to listen to this song like all the time 15 years ago, and I haven't heard it since then. Why did I stop? And then I listened to it like 4 times. I'm just like, all right, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
But
It's like, well, like in high school, it's like, oh, you listen to this, you're not cool if you don't listen to this. And it's like, wait, what? And then, times of CDs and, like, hey, can I borrow a CD or can you burn a CD for me? Or, so now you have so much music at your fingertips. It's disgusting that, if I had to go to, like, I'll listen to Coheed and Cambria. I'll listen to Tool. I'll listen to, but there's not one person that'd be like, you know what? If I had to go to and like I was just stuck, I'd be like, you know what? Ben Folds. Only because it's soft, but at the same time, I respect them for making the cover of from NWA.
Or is that Bitches Ain't Shit?
That's it.
Gotcha. Oh, Eugene, your misogynistic tendencies are...
It's not really misogynistic. It's just funny.
And I'm just going to ask you guys this because I know that you play them. What is your favorite video game?
On the phone.
Come on.
On the phone, Angry Birds. Like, there's nothing to get my blood pressure going and mad at the world just to be sour for the day. Like, damn birds.
I don't play Angry Birds, but I play Lemmings on the phone. And I'm the same exact way. Like Michelle, like there's the longest time, like I'd be on the phone, just be like, God damn it. She'd be like, Lemmings. And I'm just like, yeah, fucking assholes.
For I guess for current gen, I hate to say it, I'm late to the game.
Doesn't have to be current. It could be of all time.
Well, I guess my now game I'm playing, like I used to play Call of Duty Warfare, but all of a sudden because I'm trying to be more family friendly, now I'm playing Fortnite with the nephew.
Oh, really? Is it fun? Because my nephews have been trying to get me to play too, and I just don't want to. But
it's more fun than you think.
Okay, maybe I'll give it a shot for them, for the children. Okay. All right, Brian, what's your favorite video game of all time?
Bloodborne.
Okay.
Good choice.
Never played that one.
It's like Dark Souls. Basically, is Dark Souls.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Not as rough.
Really anything that's got like an RPG element to it, and if it's got like a ye old times / Lovecraft-ness to it, I'm a big fan.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'd have to say mine is Half-Life 2. It's like the best game ever for me. All right, guys, I got one more question for you.
Ooh.
And I'm going to start with you, Eugene. Why did you come on the show?
Because you're my friend.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to have friends.
That's fine.
I can't be friends.
I just wanted to know why you came on. Brian?
Because you promised me coffee afterwards.
Oh, yes, I did. Sorry, Eugene. You gave it up too easy. I asked you if you come on. You're just like, yeah, absolutely, I'll be there. And I had to work with Brian a little bit. So now you know you need to play hard to get.
Oh yeah, blame it on the prom date. Whatever.
Guys, I really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun with you. I look forward to doing this again. I'd like you both to come back. I'm gonna get us some guests here in the near future. I haven't figured out how often I want to do this in a week. Like, I don't want to ask too much of people. I'd like to do it like twice a week, but I don't know if that's too much or not. I'd like to do it every single night, but that's just way too much. I need my sleep. It's way past my bedtime right now. But yeah, I actually have talked to a couple people who are interested, business people, artists, like people who might actually have something interesting to say other than you fucking losers. No, that was mean. I was just kidding. Sorry, Eugene. It's a really nice bathrobe.
You got a businessman and a politician all at one.
I know. What more could you ask for? They're God damn it. I said no politics. All right. Well, we will see you guys soon. And we'll be back and we'll have some more fun. And yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right.
Me too.
Oh, wait. We got to come up with a sign off.
Two fat guys and one DJ. I don't know, because he's got the headset.
Oh,
We
yeah. Yeah. I feel like my shirt in the dark kind of looks like Jedi robes. So I'm just, going with that. We should have ended this when I said it earlier. We fucked it up. We ruined the whole thing.
We're all gonna sign off at the same time to count of three because this is the way.
There you go.